Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about Luke Quaynor, the brother of Isaac Quaynor, and whether we're going to draft him in this year's national draft. He started this year quite well for the Chargers and played as a bottom ager as well. He's the same height as Quaynor, Isaac of course, a little bit more slender at his age. And look, we have picks in the 50s, right? And we need to bring youth into our side at the same time. So I imagine the end story is we do draft Quaynor with one of our picks in the 50s and then probably pass on the other two picks if I had to guess. He averaged 9 disposals last year in 2023 for the Chargers and only managed to bump that up to 13 in 2024. He didn't play in the national championships, whereas Isaac Quaynor did. He played for Vic Metro, averaged 17 touches in those games that he played for good old Vic Metro. Are we connected? We're good. And I don't want to compare Luke to Isaac, but it's the closest version of him to him. So we have to have something as a comparison point in this video. And Collingwood, to be fair, in our history, the last 10 years or so, we've done all right with our later picks. I'll just read out some names. Joe Richards taken at pick 48. We know what we got out of him and helped us get the Dan Houston trade over the line. Harvey Harrison at pick 52. Bo McCreary as a mature age at 44. Josh Dacos as a father's son at 57. So I look at Josh Dacos as a reference point as well, because if he was taken at 57, granted he was a father's son, so he would have slid. But Dacos played for Vic Metro in the national championships and was still only taken at pick 37. So that says something. But if we go further down the line, we even managed to squeeze out games from Bianco, Rusco, Tyler Brown, Rupert Wills, Crocker. Even Basina Valagi played 20 games and he was pick 77. So it's fair to say Collingwood do try and get the most out of these later picks. And I truthfully believe it comes down to good coaching, being around players that excel in professionalism, Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Darcy Moore, Nick Dacos. You come to that club, you're getting the best opportunity possible to develop as a player and have a crack at AFL level. So it's a kudos to Collingwood when it comes to that conversation that we do well with these later picks. He played a game or two, I believe, one against the Doggies and one against Casey. I have stats for Casey where he collected 7 touches and the mail on his performance for that game wasn't great. But when you're playing as an underage player in the VFL, you're a bit more slim than the players you're coming up against. You're nervous. You're Isaac Quaynor's brother. That can get the best of you. But he only collected 7 touches. And I guess we bring him in. We bring him in. He's young, obviously. Can we nurture him? Does he turn into another Isaac Quaynor? I mean, you can't turn a blind eye to the fact that he is his brother and could possibly become another Isaac Quaynor if he's brought up and developed the right way. Give him 2-3 years in the VFL to really develop his craft and see if he can turn into something. He'll be a running backman, and with his slim size, he'd probably be a little bit faster than Quaynor off the break. So I think there's a chance there. We're at 39 list spots after the 3D listings, as I mentioned in the video I've just posted about Membry. We'll bring in Tomlinson, we'll bring in Membry, it takes us to 41. We'll bring in Luke Quaynor, 42. Leaves us 2 spots on the senior list. And then I imagine we take that to the preseason supplementary period and add 2 more players there if needed. And if not, worst case, we'll leave those spots open for a mid-season draft potential. But that's Luke Quaynor in a nutshell. Like I said, the mail isn't great on him, but the fact that he has that last name, you'd be ignorant to walk away from the prospect of bringing him into the black and white next year. And hey, get the right nurturing, get the Pendleburys around him, get the Nick Dacoses around him. I'm sure he'd be training the house down in the off season with these types of guys, being Quaynor's brother. It'd be interesting, and how good would that be? I mean, Collingwood just do such a good job with the siblings. We saw Tyler and Callum Brown at times. We saw the Rockers, if we want to go that far back. And who have we got now? We've got Josh Dacos and Nick Dacos. And who's to say if Luke Quaynor comes into the side, can he play as a small forward? Can he play in the back? Can he play in the wing? We've seen Isaac Quaynor develop his game and has been asked to play on the wing. When Isaac did the draft combine, he won or was number one in the goal kicking contest, kicked 5 straight out of the 5 shots he took. So imagine if Luke Quaynor has something like that in his blood, then that'd be cool. But I want to get your thoughts in the comment section. Would you use a pick in the 50s for Luke Quaynor? He's an NGA player, so, and we won't need a match a bid for him because he falls out of the 40s, so he won't cost anything more than one of those picks in the 50s. We won't be able to, in my opinion, bundle up those picks and get an earlier pick in the draft. All the teams like Gold Coast, Essendon and Brisbane who have academy players and father sons, they've got their ducks in a row when it comes to their draft picks, which will allow them to match bids for those players. So at this point, these picks in the 50s, I don't think hold much value. And I think it's worth bringing in Luke Quaynor with one of those picks rather than burning all 3 of them in this draft. And considering, okay, we got Perriman and Houston who are 25, 27, but if you're going to bring in Tomlinson and Membry, we probably need to bring in some younger players. And that's probably something that's not spoken about enough is, yes, we're the older side in the comp, but that plays to your benefit when you're bringing in these younger players because you're just surrounded by experience personified. And that's something that cannot be, I guess, spoken about at length. Like, it needs to be highlighted that that is a benefit of having an older list. We see what Geelong do. Hopefully, with some of these older players coming into the club, our VFL side will have more veterans. I imagine Billy Frampton, Markov, these types of players will spend more time in the VFL and help blood these younger players. I feel like the issue with our VFL side in 2024 was we were unsteady, the team was chopping and changing, there was a lack of experience there. So players like TJ, Di Mattia, Ed Allen, Jacob Ryan probably didn't get the best experience that they could have gotten because they weren't playing with AFL seasoned veterans. So hopefully with Tomlinson, Membry, that pushes out some players on a weekly basis, and those players are ideally a bit older and give some benefit to the players playing, the younger players playing at VFL level. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and as always, go Pies.